Welcome to the Safe Sensei segment on spanking and corporal punishment. When I was a kid in the 60s and 70s, they'd throw around terms like beat my child, spank my child. These different terms people are really careful today when they talk about corporal punishment with their children. If you say today, I spanked my child, you tell your neighbor, or you're in a social group, there's a chance that CPS may be called. If CPS is called on you, it's not the worst thing in the world. Generally speaking, if you're a decent parent, you can be honest with them, tell them what went on, the investigation come through and be over with no challenge. If you get the right social worker, so we want to be careful. Corporal punishment and spanking is most controversial. Some parents believe never to spank or have a child feel any type of physical pain as a consequence. Others believe that it can be most effective. At Safe Sensei, we have a specific method to help you. Bruce Lee said, "The art of fighting without fighting." At Safe Sensei, we coach our clients to do the art of spanking without spanking. You want to make sure you check your state laws. And in my state, in Washington state, it's a most progressive state, but it allows spanking if it's reasonable, moderate, and isn't abusive. Now, these things can be subjective. Texas law pins it down a little bit closer. Texas Penal Code 9.61 allows spanking and calls it non-deadly force, which is kind of a power term there, and it cannot cause substantial harm. So make sure you check your state laws. The art of spanking without spanking. So I'll tell you a story about my own boy, Daryl. I was his stepfather, and Daryl got caught stealing a book at the mall with my mom, with Grandma, and I brought him home, and I told him, Daryl, stealing is illegal. Somebody owned that book. The owner of the store that belonged to him. You don't want your things stolen, and to be a good parent today, you're gonna have to get a spanking, and this is what it's gonna be like. Now, before I go any further, I believe in corporal punishment done the right way. We coach our clients. Corporal punishment done with a very specific system. If a child steals, if they lie, or if they look at a rule and say, I'm just going to break it and see what happens. So when I was talking to Daryl, I said, Daryl, I hope that you can be a good parent and discipline your children. Undisciplined children are not happy, they don't feel safe. If we warn and don't follow through, and a child will know subconsciously and consciously that we don't mean what we say, and they'll push and test and try to negotiate and try to control the conversation. So again, with our 6-point praise and consequence system, we want to make sure we praise our child. I'd like to have the concept of punishment kind of be flushed away, and have natural consequences replace that term. If a child knows that if they steal, or if they lie, or if they look at a rule and say, I'm just going to break it and be the boss, then they are, and if they know that corporal punishment is the result of that, and they choose the corporal punishment, then it's one of those learning lessons, like telling your child, don't touch that, that's hot. We all had to learn that on our own. We would do anything besides bring harm to our child or stop our children from learning those important lessons. But this is one of the lessons that is most important for kids, especially kids that have spirited children that have ADHD, like I do. I have ADHD. It's cost me a lot of friends, a lot of grief, and they didn't have the term ADHD in the '60s when I was growing up. They called me other choice terms, but that spark of life that I have is the spark that allowed me to be very successful later on in life. So back to the Daryl story. Daryl got caught stealing a book, And when he came home, I said, Daryl, it was against the law. You don't want your things stolen. That book belonged to somebody, and today you're going to have to get a spanking. And this is what it's going to be like. We're going to go into your bedroom. You're going to put your hands on the bed. I'm going to swat you 3 times with my belt because it hurts my hand. And if you move your hand, you're going to get an extra swat. So let's go to the bedroom and take him by the hand and slowly, ever so slowly, walk down the hallway. Just slow roll it. And when they get into the bedroom, when you get into the bedroom, put their hands on the bed, 3 light taps with whatever implement you decide, a hug, no harm, no foul, and it's over. The real consequence, the real powerful thing is the walk down the hallway. Now, the reason for telling them not to move their hands, it's control. You want your child to feel compelled to do exactly what you tell them to do. As long as you're a great parent and you're telling your child to do healthy things and not to do unhealthy things, you want your child to value your words. So this is the safe sensei method of corporal punishment. Remember, it's all about the walk down the hallway, the slow explanation to them in another room besides their bedroom, usually the kitchen or something, and just letting them know if they steal, if they lie, or if they look at a rule, this is going to be what happens. The physical pain of a spanking doesn't have to be the prevalent force here. Like I said, 3 light taps, a hug, no harm, no foul, and it's over. This is the psychology of good parenting. Please give me your comments. I want to hear what you guys have to say about this. And again, make sure you check your laws, your local laws. Share these concepts with your significant other, your spouse, grandma, and I would reserve corporal punishment for the parent only. I wouldn't allow a babysitter or a surrogate to do this. I would have them talk to me. This is one of the most effective and powerful ways to teach a child that you mean what you say and you mean it the first time. I sure hope you found this video valuable. Please reach out in the comments and let me know your experience on spanking. Were you spanked as a child? Um, did your parents call it a beating? How did you have an experience with a CPS member of CPS? And so, thank you for watching today. I sure hope this helped, and we'll see you in our next video.